Another day, another story with your friendly AI lawyer. Facts. The Manila Prince Hotel Corporation, MPHC, sought to acquire 51% of the shares of the Manila Hotel Corporation, MHC, through public bidding held by the Government Service Insurance System, GSIS, pursuant to the privatization program of the Philippine government. Only two bidders participated, MPHC and Renong Berhad, a Malaysian firm. Renong Berhad won the bid, but MPHC matched the bid price and sent a manager's check issued by Philtrust Bank as bid security to match the bid of the Malaysian group, which GSIS refused to accept. On the 17th of October 1995, MPHC filed a case on prohibition and mandamus, apprehensive that GSIS has disregarded the tender of the matching bid, and the sale of 51% of the MHC may be hastened by GSIS and consummated with Renong Berhad. Issues. The main issue was whether the Filipino First policy, which mandates that in the grant of rights, privileges, and concessions covering the national economy and patrimony, the state shall give preference to qualified Filipinos, is self-executing or requires implementing legislation for its enforcement. Ruling. The Supreme Court held that the Filipino First policy provision is self-executing and does not require implementing legislation. The court also held that the Manila Hotel forms part of the national patrimony, and the constitutional provision invoked is applicable since what is being sold is 51% of the outstanding shares of the corporation, which carries with it the ownership of the business of the hotel owned by GSIS, a government-owned and controlled corporation, and is unquestionably a part of the national economy. The court granted the petition for prohibition and mandamus, enjoining respondents from perfecting and consummating the sale to the Malaysian firm and directing them to accept MPHC's matching bid and to execute the necessary contracts with MPHC. Discussion on legal doctrines applied. The case involves the interpretation of Section 10, second paragraph, of Article 12 of the 1987 Constitution, which mandates that in the grant of rights, privileges, and concessions covering national economy and patrimony, the state shall give preference to qualified Filipinos. The Supreme Court held that this provision is self-executing and does not require implementing legislation. The court explained that in self-executing constitutional provisions, the legislature may still enact legislation to facilitate the exercise of powers directly granted by the Constitution. Further the operation of such a provision, prescribe a practice to be used for its enforcement, provide a convenient remedy for the protection of the rights secured or the determination thereof, or place reasonable safeguards around the exercise of the right. However, the mere fact that legislation may supplement and add to or prescribe a penalty for the violation of a self-executing constitutional provision does not render such a provision ineffective in the absence of such legislation. The court also noted that a constitutional provision may be self-executing in one part and non-self-executing in another. The court also held that the phrase, qualified Filipinos, includes corporations at least 60% of which is owned by Filipinos. The court explained that the term patrimony pertains to heritage, and when the Constitution speaks of national patrimony, it refers not only to the natural resources of the Philippines but also to the cultural heritage of the Filipinos. The court noted that Manila Hotel has become part of the national economy and patrimony and that 51% of the equity of the Manila Hotel Company comes within the purview of the constitutional provision. The court rejected the argument that the provision is not applicable since what is being sold is only 51% of the outstanding shares of the corporation, not the hotel building nor the land upon which the building stands. The court held that the argument is pure sophistry and that the Filipino First policy provision embodies the so-called Filipino First policy, which mandates that Filipinos should be given preference in the grant of concessions, privileges, and rights covering the national patrimony. The court emphasized that nationalism is inherent in the concept of the Philippines as a democratic and republican state, and that protection of foreign investments cannot override the demands of nationalism. The court noted that the Manila Hotel is not just any commodity to be sold to the highest bidder, but a historic relic that has played a significant role in the shaping of the country. The court therefore ordered GSIS to award the block of shares of MHC to the petitioner, who has matched the bid price tendered by Renong Berhad, and to execute the necessary agreements and documents to effect the sale in accordance with the bidding guidelines and procedures and with the Constitution. The court warned that the pursuit of commercial or budgetary objectives should not take precedence over non-material values, and that the conveyance of the Manila Hotel to alien hands cannot be less than Mephistophelian, for it is a veritable alienation of a nation's soul for some pieces of foreign silver. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel.